Tucker Carlson's top writer resigns after being exposed for posting on websites like 4chan, an image board website where people talk anonymously. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, and today on the internet, we're going to talk about Tucker Carlson's top writer and how he's basically been forced to resign after it was revealed that he posted in online forums. Now, the website 4chan is an image board basket weaving forum separated by subjects. You know, there's a knitting board, there's an origami board, and there's also a politically incorrect board where people talk about politics. I've actually looked into this story, and it is indeed confirmed that the writer was exposed for posting on websites like 4chan. Tucker Carlson's top writer resigns after secretly posting racist and sexist remarks in an online forum. Now, we're going to look through this, and we're also going to look on 4chan because 4chan is discussing the story after all. You know, the hacker known as 4chan, the famous image board website that's caused a lot of interesting stories over the years, right? So we're going to take a look at both of those things as well as what he wrote. What did he write? I mean, they're calling it racist, sexist, but I've seen his posts and they're not that bad. So before we look into this, if you're new to the channel, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit the bell button for notifications for more content. And if you like this video, please consider giving it a share. But before we get into this, a quick word from this week's sponsor.
Zuck the cuck drinks water like a duck, but he also drinks your data. So tell him and Google to shove your data up their schwing-schwangs by downloading the Brave browser. It's free, blocks online advertising, and protects your privacy and data from evil tech companies. You only see ads if you want to see them, and you get cryptocurrency for your attention. Don't let Zuck use you to make a buck. Download Brave by clicking on the link down below.
So here we are with CNN. So I want to talk about his statements, and I want to talk about the implications for Tucker Carlson, who has Fox's biggest show with the highest ratings and is one of the most successful shows in America. Tucker Carlson often talks about politics and events through a conservative lens and regularly calls out the far left insanity that we're seeing in the world. He's called out groups like BLM for committing violence, for looting, for rioting. He's called out Democrats for their insane policies that have turned into disasters all over America. And he's a big critic of the left. And he's just lost his top writer. Now, CNN goes on to say, the top writer for Fox News host, Tucker Carlson, for years has been using a pseudonym to post bigoted remarks in an online forum that is a hotbed for racist, sexist, and other content, CNN Business learned this week. Oh, shut up, you babies. It's the internet. Just this week, the writer Blake Neff responded to a thread started by another user in 2018 with the subject line, "Would you let a jet black Congo," and then it says a derogatory slur, "do LASIK eye surgery on you for 50% off?" Neff wrote, "I wouldn't get LASIK from an Asian for free, so no." The subject line was not censored on the forum. Now, first of all, I want to point something out. Yes, there was a derogatory slur in the subject line, but no, Blake Neff did not write it himself. He didn't write a derogatory slur. And I don't believe that he's guilty of it, if anything, just because he replied. Oh, well, you replied to a thread. Okay, a little explanation. On 4chan, it's very simple. It's called an image board, and you go to the board that you're interested in, let's say anime. You post a picture of anime, or some sort of picture, and then you write. You can write a subject line, you can write text, and then you can ask people questions or talk. And then other people who see your image and your text can reply to you. It's kind of like a forum, it's just a slightly different format. So a thread is when people start replying to a post, and it creates a thread of posts to read through. So this guy replied to a thread. He didn't write the derogatory slur. So what? Am I supposed to give a shit that OP, which means original poster, it's the person who started the thread, who posted the image and the text. am I supposed to care that OP said a derogatory slur? He asked a question. It's clear what he means. He's talking about, are you willing to go to a third world country like the Congo and get a surgery at a discounted price? In other words, is it worth it? And he says, no, I wouldn't get it from an Asian for free. So no whatsoever. Okay. So I gotta be honest. They're making it sound like this guy said a lot of horrible things, but this is really, really tame. Really tame. And honestly, it's not that big a deal. So on June 5th, Neff wrote, quote, black dudes staying inside playing Call of Duty is probably one of the biggest factors keeping crime down. And on June 26th, Neff wrote that the only people who care about changing the name of NFL's Washington Redskins are white liberals and their university-educated pets. Okay. Let's break down the things he said. Okay. He said that black dudes playing inside, playing Call of Duty is probably keeping crime down. Now, I guess people might consider that statement a little bit iffy, right? You're basically implying that because they're staying home, they're not out causing trouble. But you gotta understand, BLM, for example, it's not all just white dudes. There's a lot of African Americans who've joined these movements, these left-wing movements, who declared themselves a left-wing activist, and we've seen a lot of diverse crowds causing problems and committing crimes and looting and rioting and burning things and tearing down statues. So, I'm not saying that I support any of these statements. I'm just reporting on them to you. But what I can say is, again, it's kind of a tame comment. Yeah, people are staying home, so crime is down. It's not really complicated. I'm sure that if the white liberals were to stay home, crime would also go down, because a lot of white liberals are out there breaking the law, being hooligans. So, okay, I understand. Maybe that's a little iffy, but is it worth him losing his job? No. That's so tame. And, in America, we have freedom of speech. We should be able to have opinions. He hasn't actually said anything that I would think is bigoted. A bigot? Trust me, folks. As someone who frequents the hacker known as 4chan, and someone who's familiar with the politically incorrect board, if this guy was truly a bigot, he would have written very, very different stuff. He would have been far more extreme, trust me. This person, it just seems like they're being edgy. And it's not even like real edge, like internet edge. It's like, it's playful edge. It's like, oh, well, I could beat you up, like that really tepid, lukewarm, barely anything kind of edge. Like that, like a dull knife, but it's a butter knife. Like, come on. And, he's completely right about the Washington Redskins. Nobody gives a shit about their name. Nobody. I certainly don't care. I don't know any, Native Americans who care. The people who care are these white woke liberals and, all the brainwashed sheep who were brainwashed in these universities, which we know have left-wing bias. I guess they put pressure on Tucker Carlson, on Fox News, and on Neff himself. You see, Neff had worked for Fox News for nearly 4 years and was Carlson's top writer. Previously, he was a reporter at the Daily Caller, a conservative news outlet that Carlson co-founded. Neff said that anything Carlson is reading off of the teleprompter, the first draft was written by me. He also acknowledged the show's influence telling the magazine, and this is for the Dartmouth Alumni magazine. We're very aware of the power that we have to sway the conversation, so we try to use it responsibly. So as you can imagine, this guy's a big part of Tucker Carlson's show, and I don't think he's doing Tucker Carlson any favors by resigning. In fact, I think Tucker Carlson will be hurt. Now, people don't give writers a lot of credit, but the truth is, writers are the backbone of any story, any show, any piece of media. Without good writing, you have nothing. So him resigning is a major blow to Tucker Carlson's show and could have very real consequences. I wouldn't be surprised if the ratings drop a bit. Now, the hacker known as 4chan, because it wouldn't be fair to talk about this without including that infamous hacker and their opinions and what they're saying. Here's a thread on the politically incorrect board, poll. And, they're talking about this now. Anonymous says, Tucker's top writer posted on poll. Anonymous replies, what website are they talking about? Oh, okay, so it turns out that the website that he was actually posting on was called AutoAdmit. It's this little niche website. That's probably why I hadn't heard of it. And it wasn't actually 4chan directly. I wouldn't be surprised if he did post on 4chan. I don't doubt it for a second that he posted on 4chan as well as this AutoAdmit website. But CNN, they're always conflating things. And they say that AutoAdmit is, well, I'll just read you the quote here. Anonymous says, while working at Fox News, and while a reporter at the Daily Caller, Neff was a frequent poster on AutoAdmit, also known as XOXOInth. It is a relatively unmoderated message board, like 4chan, aimed at lawyers and law school students, in which racism and sexism run rampant. So, of course, they drag 4chan's good name through the mud. 4chan is a board of peace. 4chan believes in peace and prosperity for all. And Politically Incorrect is one of 4chan's most diverse boards. So, I just don't understand the hate the media is always throwing at 4chan. It isn't fair. Now, Anonymous here asks, how the F did they find out? Well, the problem was that, unlike 4chan, where people are encouraged to stay anonymous, Tucker Carlson's top writer was using a pseudonym and not exactly hiding his own personal details. In other words, he doxed himself repeatedly. Now, this was really, really dumb. Really dumb. And this was his big mistake. The reason that websites like 4chan push anonymity is because when you're anonymous, it doesn't matter who you are. All that matters is whether your ideas are good or bad. And it also stops you from being targeted, from being exposed, and from being doxxed. Well, this guy basically doxed himself. Left-wingers found out, and they put pressure on him and Fox, and now he's resigned. And now his career has been brutally hurt. So this just goes to show, don't use usernames. I believe this guy used XOXOHTH and then Charles X11, and he spent years posting, It goes on here to say that he has spent years posting about his history, offering his political opinions, and detailing aspects of his personal life. Again, don't share personal information online. It will and can be used against you. So taking a look at the AutoAdmit website, I can see here that it's not really that complicated. It claims to be a prestigious law school discussion board. And looking through some of the headlines here, let's see. One of the headlines says, Charles resigning and deleting everything is honestly a little pathetic. Other people seem to be making the claim that he was doxxed by some sort of person on this website. And, so on and so forth. People are discussing different topics. So someone on this website outed him and basically destroyed his life. So this is what happened. After learning of Neff's post on the board through an email from an anonymous tipster, CNN Business was able to positively identify Charles X11 as Neff by reviewing messages he has posted throughout the years on the forum and matching them up with publicly available information about him. So they doxed him. CNN doxed him too. And this is the problem with sharing information. These left-wingers, these Democrats, these left-wing activists, they have no morals and no standards. They are bad, bad people, and they will destroy your life and ruin you. But you know what? This has to end. Again, do not let CNN win. Don't resign. Do not apologize. And do what you have to do. These people, they're using tyranny and force to silence people with opinions. Now, look, even if the guy had truly said some bad things, I still wouldn't think that he deserves to be fired or to resign. He did good work, he does good work, and who cares? Literally, who cares except these woke white liberals who don't watch Tucker Carlson anyway? So, the rest of the thread is just slander, and I hope he sues them. And then, they're complaining, oh, he was a bigot. He said mean things about a woman who did some stupid things, right? And then, he's criticized people. Oh, but because she was female, it's a crime. A big deal. You criticize people. You're doing it now, CNN. You're criticizing Neff. Neff criticized a woman. Oh, but that makes him a misogynist. No, it doesn't. Anyone can be criticized, even if they're female. Do you honestly think that just because someone is female, that means that you cannot criticize them? See, that's the problem with the left-wing mindset. They believe that if you're a special class, You're above criticism. Even if you're a murderer, even if you do horrible things, even if you break the law. Okay, so here's a really good example. They say in March of 2020, Neff started another lengthy thread mocking a separate woman with whom he was connected on social media. The woman had posted about freezing her eggs, and Neff apparently found that worth deriding in the Auto Admit forum. Look, Neff was probably talking about reality. When a woman gets too old and she thinks, well, I'm going to focus on my career. I'm a strong, independent woman. I'm a feminist, and I don't need no man. So when women do this and they ignore starting a family, they ignore dating, they think that, well, I can just freeze my eggs and it'll be fine. But what most of these women don't realize is that the older you get as a woman, the much, much, much harder it gets to get pregnant and to have a baby. And freezing eggs fails like 80% of the time. There's all these stories about older women who froze some eggs, and then when they were finally ready to have kids, all the eggs failed, and they were no longer able to have children. That's life. It's not misogyny to tell women that they should have families young, while they still can get pregnant and still can have children. It's actually a good message to tell young women, because it's the truth. But left-wingers, they don't live in reality. These woke left-wing liberals are going to say like, well, I'm a feminist and feminism is good, and feminism says that you don't have to have kids. You can wait until you're 50, get an unfrozen egg that will fail 90% of the time, and it'll be fine. They lie to people. Feminism lies to women. Anyways, they just call him a bigot. This is just one big hit piece, and they're just putting out the things he said, his opinions. And a lot of the things he's saying are actually true. Maybe he's saying them in a soft, edgy way, but that doesn't make it untrue. Do not give in to these left-wing activists. Do not let them win. Do not quit. Do not resign. Do not apologize. Move on. If Tucker Carlson's writers all want to go on websites like 4chan, I say let them. But that's merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? Let me know down below in the comment section. As always, if you like the work I do and want to support the channel, you can join me on Patreon or Subscribestar for as low as $1. Joining will give you access to a private Discord server. If you want to donate, there's DonorBox and Bitcoin. Links are down below. And lastly, once again, the best thing you can do for this channel, because these days, websites like YouTube, these platforms, have a lot of left-wing bias. So if you like the video, please consider giving it a share. Spread those red pills. Anyhow, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.